Hello friends, today we are studying the structure of conditional sentences. We have already studied that conditional sentences are of three types: type first, type 2 and type third, and they are used to express possible, probable and impossible conditions. So in this lecture we will study about the structure. What is the structure of type first conditional sentence? What are their uses? What is the structure of type second and type third, and so on. So first of all, let us talk about the type first conditional sentence. Its structure is very simply if plus simple present plus simple future. For example, if I say if we take precautions, we will win the war against corona virus. So see, I have just written a sentence which consists of two parts. Again, this part in which I have used simple present tense is called the if clause, and the second in which I have used simple future is called the main clause. So just like all conditional sentences, it also starts with an if clause. So we are talking about a possible condition which just says that if we take precautions, we will win the war against corona. So we can simply say that it is talking about a possible condition. If first condition is completed, then as a result the second condition will follow, and I am quite sure that in this war against corona, if we take simple precautions like keeping social distancing and following each and every guideline which has been issued by the government, we will surely win this war against corona. So this is called the first type of conditional sentence. Next, we will talk about type second. Type second tells us about probable conditions. So its structure is if plus simple past plus would. So we can say, let's think about an imaginary condition, and we are writing our examination, and when we look at the question paper, we just think that if we studied that part seriously, we would be in a position to answer these questions. So we can just say that a student who has not prepared well for his examination is thinking certain things when he is looking at the question paper, that if I worked harder, I would solve this question paper easily. So as I just said, that it talks about those conditions which are probable, and again its structure is if, the first clause if plus simple past plus would. There is one more thing which we need to keep in mind whenever we are using conditional sentence type second. Conditional sentence type second is used for two conditions, and these conditions are First, when the supposition is contrary to known facts. Suppose if I say that if our classes were continue, we would complete our syllabus by now. So I am talking about those conditions which are not true. Why? I am supposing that the classes will go on regularly, which is not happening at this point of time. So whatever I am thinking is contrary to known facts. So we can say that conditional sentence type second is used for two conditions. The first one is when the supposition is contrary to known facts, and second, if I say that if I fell ill, I would take all the precautions. So I am talking about a probable condition. Why? Because I am not ill at this point of time. So if I say, just to repeat, that if I say that if I fell ill, I would take utmost precautions. I am not ill at this point of time, but I am not saying that there is no probability that I won't fall ill. I am talking about a condition which is hypothetical in nature, and at the same time I am also talking about a condition which I do not expect to happen. So we can say that conditional sentence type second is used in two conditions. The first one is that when the supposition is contrary to known facts, and second, when the speaker does not expect the condition in if clause to take place. So we can say that whenever we have to use the second type of conditional sentence structure, that is if plus would plus simple past, we use it in those conditions when the supposition is contrary to known facts, and second, when the speaker does not expect the action or the condition in the if clause to take place. Now we move on to conditional sentence type third. It is used for those conditions which are impossible in nature, and its structure is if plus past perfect plus would have. This is the basic structure, though there are certain variations which are possible in each and every type of conditional sentence, but here we are taking it in a very simple manner, and we are just talking about three basic conditions or three basic structures. So the third structure is if plus past perfect plus would have, and it talks about those conditions which are impossible in nature. Suppose person reaches the station very late and he finds that the train has left. So now it is something that is impossible in nature. He cannot do anything about that. Just to describe that condition, the speaker can take help of conditional sentence type third, which talks about impossible conditions, and in that case he will say if I had reached station on time, I would have caught the passenger train. So this is now an impossible type of conditional sentence or situation. Why? Because the train has left the station and the passenger cannot do anything about it. But just to describe that impossible condition, the speaker is just saying that if he had reached station on time, he would have caught the passenger train. So just to revise once again, we can say that each and every conditional sentence is made up of two parts. The first one is called if clause, the second one is called the main clause. It does not depend which clause comes first. It is quite possible to start a conditional sentence with the main clause, and it is also possible, as it generally happens, that all conditional sentences start with if. They are of three types, which are known as conditional sentence type first, type second, and type third, and they are used for those conditions which are possible, probable, and impossible type of conditions. And when it comes to their structure, we can say conditional sentence first. The structure of conditional sentence type first is if plus simple present plus will. Type 2, if plus would plus simple past, or if plus simple past plus would. And third, if plus had or past perfect plus would have. And these are used for those conditions which are possible, probable, and impossible. And when it comes to conditional sentence type 2, it is used for two conditions. First, when the supposition is contrary to known facts, and second, when the speaker does not expect the condition in if clause to take place. And when it comes to conditional sentence type third, it is used for those conditions which are impossible in nature. So with this, we conclude our chapter on conditional sentences. I hope that you have understood it pretty well, very easily, that what are conditional sentences and what are their uses. Thank you very much.